Well, good morning, everyone. It is 9:03. I'm a minute late. Shame on me. Thank you very much for your patience. I appreciate it. It's September 13th, 2021, and we are days away from AEP, and we've got quite a bit happening here, getting ready for open enrollment. But first, as always, I just want to remind everybody why we are here. We are here to improve the lives of our community with affordable health care. So thank you guys for all you do and serving our community day in and day out. So with that, I'm going to share my screen here as well. I do want to recognize our top producer for September. Congratulations goes out to Mr. Joe Faulk and his incredible work. Joe's in the Tampa market and relatively new partner with us, so we appreciate everything that you're doing out there, Joe. Congratulations to you and all your hard work for September 1st as our top producer. So as you guys know, we are doing our top producer dinners for those agents that do a minimum of 7 enrollments for the month. Will be invited to a nice dinner, and usually sponsored by one of our carrier partners or doctor's offices. And we'd like to take you guys out to show our appreciation and as a thank you for the carriers for writing their business as well. So get on the board. We love to see new faces at the dinners. We really do appreciate your guys' hard work. So thank you for doing that. And congrats to Joe. All right, so we've got training. All right, guys, sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on this morning, but looks like we've got some issues with our system here. So it does look like it is still recording, so we'll just keep rolling with it. So let's talk about training this morning. I might not be able to do a share screen because it seems like that's the issue this morning here. But today, September 13th, at 10 a.m., we've got Cigna. They're doing their kickoff in Apopka, and that is at the Hilton Garden Inn in Apopka. So if you are looking for a face-to-face kickoff, that is today at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock today, Devoted is doing their coffee and chat session. This is designed for the Orlando market, but all are welcome if you're writing Devoted. Moving on to tomorrow, the 14th September, we've got Humana doing their rollout session at 10 a.m. This is a WebEx, and it's across the country. So anywhere you do business, you can jump on that WebEx and see what's going on for 2022 for Humana. Very, very strong benefits, very competitive this year. I'm really excited to see what they're rolling out for 2022. Moving on to September 15th, that's this Wednesday at 10 a.m. Cigna's doing another kickoff session in person for the Orlando market. That is in Lake Mary at the Hampton Inn. Moving on to same day on Wednesday at noon, Humana's doing their new agent webinar. So if you're new to Humana and you need to figure out how to write Humana and understand it, they're doing their webinar at noon on Wednesday. Also at the same time, if you are not a new agent but you need help with your sales process, that is at the same time on Wednesday at noon. I also did a pre-recorded sales presentation that I'm going to send out to everybody later on. Actually, I sent it last week. So if you haven't gotten that sales presentation, please let me know. It's in your email box, and it's also on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later in the call. But understanding the sales process is critical in your success. So Humana's doing theirs on Wednesday at noon. Jumping over to Thursday, 10 a.m., Welker's doing their AEP training in English. This is for all markets. So you can jump on there if you're selling WellCare. That's at 10 o'clock on Thursday. getting ready for AEP. Also on Thursday at 11, Cigna is doing their training on how to switch and the shopping patterns for Medicare Advantage plan members. This is pretty interesting, so you can kind of see and get in the mind of your consumer on where they're shopping and what they're looking for. Never seen one of these before, so that's pretty interesting. Might be a new one to check out, and that's for Thursday at 11. Moving on to Thursday at 11:30, Devoted is doing their brokered coffee and chat session, that one specifically for Jacksonville, so you can check that one out. Also on Thursday at 2 o'clock, we've got our WellCare session, AEP training. That one's in Spanish, so if you prefer in Espanol, the training session at 2 o'clock on Thursday will be available for you. Also at 2 o'clock, HPM is doing a training session on how to work with providers. So I'm assuming this is Nick Street and his expertise. So we're going to talk about how important it is to work with providers later in this call, because that should be your bread and butter. It really should be your bread and butter if you know how to work with providers. And there's some great things that we'll talk about at that session at 2 o'clock. In fact, if there is one training that you should be at this week, it is that one, 2 o'clock on Thursday with Nick on how to work with providers. All right, also on Thursday at 3, WellCare and Allwell is doing their virtual rollout sessions talking about the benefits for 2022, and that's across the country. So you can check that out as well. And moving on to Friday, the 17th, Cigna is doing their kickoff session in Claremont. That's for Lake County. Randy Beck will be hosting that. You can join in person or on the call. But also on Friday, 10 o'clock, WellCare is doing their AEP in Spanish, their rollout session and training, 10 o'clock on Friday in Espanol. And then the same session again in English at 2 o'clock on Friday. All right, I know lots of trainings coming up, lots of rollouts coming up. Here's the deal, guys. Remember, I always say one foot in the classroom and the other one in the field at all times. So please make sure that you're joining these sessions, the ones that you need help with the most. Spend the time, get it done, okay? I promise you'll leave smarter. You might even look smarter after leaving these training sessions. We like that. But most importantly, make sure you're getting your certifications done, especially those agents you already have a book of business. You need to ensure that you're retaining your residuals moving in, and your absolute deadline for recertification is November 30th. Okay, so don't forget that date. But please, please, please make sure you get those trainings done and out the door so we can ensure that you are successful moving into 2022. All right, speaking of how to get prepared, the first thing is you got to have kits, right? You have to have sales kits available. We have cultivated, thank you to Kim and the team for cultivating a list of all the places where you can order your kits. We'll be distributing that shortly to you. But if you should all have gotten emails from the carriers on how to enroll people or how to order your kits so you can enroll people for 2022. Make sure that you order your kits now. If you haven't ordered your kits now, right now the mail is really slow. Unless it's Amazon, the USPS is really slow. So please make sure that you get your kits ordered as soon as you can. Yes, we'll have some kits at our offices, but it will be limited and slim pickings. First come, first serve too. So if somebody walks in and grabs all the Devoted kits, then we're out of Devoted kits, right? So it's best practice to ensure that you order your kits and have what you need moving in and getting ready for AEP. So please make sure you do that and take the time to do that. And if you need help ordering kits, you don't know where to go, what number to call, what website to go to, please reach out to us and we'll be glad to share that information with you, and so that way you can get your kits ordered and you have everything you need to roll in for 2022. All right, so earlier in the call we talked about the sales process, and I shot a video last week and sent it out to you guys by email, and we're talking about, because we've got a new tool, we've got a new system with HPM Shop, And some of you have talked to me about, okay, well, this is all great, but how do I use it in the sales process? How do I start from, lead or prospect to a close and follow-up using HPM Shop? Okay, and this is really important. And I cover the basics. We talk about needs analysis in that training, and we talk about how to jump into HPM Shop and use HPM Shop in your needs analysis training when you sit down with your clients, because they've got to know what you can offer to them. And one of your biggest values as an independent agent is doing all that hard work, all that homework for them based on what they have now, based on what they enjoy about their current plan, based on what they need to change about their current plan, and if they're the decision maker. Okay, there's your needs analysis. And then how do you plug that information into HPM Shop so it can kick out the best plan for that person moving into 2022? Okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, in order for HPM Shop to truly work, you gotta have all the plans on HPM Shop. If you're missing plans on HPM Shop, it's not going to show the best plans for your clients. So again, we've got to get you contracted and set up with HPM Shop so you have all your plans all in one place, very simple and easy to use. All of you should have access to HPM Shop by now. If you do not, I know Jonathan's working on it, so thank you for your patience on that. We are working diligently because we've had a really, really large response to our new enrollment software system, and it is very tedious to set up for each agent. So we appreciate your patience on that, but it is our promise to get you ready for 2022 and ensure that you've got the platforms ready to go. Okay? But in the meantime, please make sure you watch that training video that I sent out on Friday, I think it was, and so you understand the full sales process. Even if you've been in the business for a while, it's a 40-minute video. Watch it. It'll really be enlightening on how to use HPM Shop in your needs analysis. Even if you do the needs analysis now manually, this is really going to help you in that process. Remember, guys, this is the experience that your clients are going to have with you as an agent, so you've got to hone in on that skill. What is the customer lifetime cycle? What is their experience with you? And you got to look at that visually and say, okay, this is how I expect them to deal with me, right? Do business with me, and what does that experience look like from the customer's perspective, and how well can you deliver on those value adds, okay? And one of those big value adds is using the tools that you have with HPM Shop, okay? So please do that. Watch that video. Make sure you're up and running, and then for 2022, we're going to be rolling out profiles for HPM Shop because we're going to have a new login for 2022. Okay. On that note, we do have some news from CarePlus. CarePlus is going to be rolling out a specific course that is geared for the health risk assessments, and you are compensated for completing an HRA form. And in order to get compensated for those HRA forms, you do need to complete a required course on CarePlus, which will be found in the Humana portal. So please make sure that you get that done. HRA forms are massively important for your members. For 2022, we will have integration for HRA forms on the back side of the application. For most carriers, not all carriers, it is up to them to participate. So we may not have all the HRA forms on HPM Shop, but most of the carriers now are allowing you to bounce out and get the HRA form on their site or complete it manually, and you still get credit for it. But in order to do that for CarePlus, there is a required mandatory class online that you've got to complete. It's not long. I think it's about 30 minutes, but that'll open up additional funding for the HRA forms. So let me back up. What is an HRA form? Your health risk assessment form. Your health risk assessment form is basically the intake form when your client first goes to their new doctor. Okay, so you enroll them and you get them set up with their doctor. You can complete it once a year. Even if they're established with that doctor, you can go ahead and do an HRA form, and you are compensated additionally above and beyond your commissions to complete this one-time, once per year form. anywhere from about $50 to $70 per form. It is not subject to chargebacks, so you get to keep it no matter what. It's considered an administration fee because you're doing some administration work for the carrier in order to get that HRA form. This is really, really important, not just so you can make some extra money, but this helps with the experience with your client when they onboard with a doctor. It also helps with the star ratings for the health plans, which in turn hopefully increases their fundings, which then gives you better benefits, which helps you sell year-round. So we're all connected in this thing, right? We're all connected in this thing, and we all have to know each part of this. So these HRA forms are really, really critical. Please take the time to do them. If you are not doing HRA forms, you could be missing out on anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 a year in commissions. Pretty crazy if you really think about it. If you're doing, 100 apps a year, that's $7,000 that you are not collecting because you're not doing HRA forms. And I don't know about you, but I can definitely figure out a use for $7,000. If you can't, you're more than welcome to donate it to me. I'll be glad to figure something else to do with that money. But you got to do the HRA forms in order to get that cash. But it's also going to increase the experience for the doctor, for the client, most importantly, and also for the health plan. So we're all interconnected in this thing, and we got to make sure that we're getting those HRA forms done. Okay, so CarePlus, go get that done if you haven't got that done yet. Let's talk about dental. We've got some great dental benefits this year, and I was talking to an agent over the weekend about, dental and how crazy good a lot of these dental plans are. So I wanted to share a strategy that we talked about over the weekend. And we've talked about the strategy years ago, but I want to revamp it and talk to you guys about it, because if you're in an area or in a market where it is super saturated with agents and the primary care doctors are being bombarded, there are other places you can go. And one of those places you can go is the dentist office. Okay? Now, at the dentist, these guys and gals are getting paid by the carrier to get dental work done. So for instance, let's say that you have a member and they're getting $2,000 worth of dental benefits. And you go to Dr. Jacobs and he's a dentist in your area and you say, hey, look, Dr. Jacobs, I've got a plan that gives your Medicare members up to $2,000 worth of dental, and it's paid directly to you by the carrier. And here's what it covers. This, that, and that. Can you think of anybody that this plan might be able to help? And now the dentist is referring business to you saying, hey, yes, I got somebody that needs crown work. I've got somebody that needs dentures. I got somebody that needs to have their teeth pulled. And if you've got a plan, if you've got a solution, and you're talking to these dentists, then you're going to be the guy or gal that's going to get these referrals. Okay? You've got great dental benefits for this year for Medicare. So here's the strategy. Number one, what you've got to do is identify the plans and their dental benefits and re-up on the dental benefits. Make sure you understand the dental benefits, the ins and outs, the network, and how you access those benefits. Okay? So do your research on the plans. Number two, pull up the provider directory and find those dentists in your area. Now, keep in mind, sometimes the provider directory does not have the full dental network in the provider directory. So you might have to contact the carrier or do a drop-down search for dentists specifically. So make sure that you identify which network that these health plans are using for their dental. And I'll give you an example. So Freedom uses Argus, and Argus is a separate dental network altogether. So they have a kind of like a sub-network of dentists. So you can go to the Argus website and type in your zip code and find the dentists in your area that accept or are part of Argus, which would make sure that they accept Freedom. Because sometimes you'll call the dentist office or you stop by the dentist office and you say, hey, do you accept Freedom? And they say no. but do you accept Argus? And they say yes. Well, it's the same thing. Okay? So you got to know what you're talking about when you're going about it with the network. So step 1 is make sure you know your dental benefits. Step 2 is make sure you know what dentist you're going to be working with. And then step 3 is talking to those dentists, going in there and educating them about what dental benefits that you have, that you can help with these folks. And you can also ask to set up a table on their busiest days. Is it okay if I sit outside and talk to people as they come in about, you know, if they have Medicare, I've got some great dental benefits for them. And then there's some other things we could do with mailers and other things that we could talk about on a later date. But that's the strategy there. Do not forget about dentists. If you are looking for a strategy, if you're not really sure how you're going to grow your business this year, dentists. Take a look at the dentist networks, because these dental plans that are tied in with Medicare this time for 2022 is incredible. Really, really great stuff. So make sure you spend some time on the dental strategy if that's something you're interested in doing. Another strategy also is our benefitscheckup.org, and we talked about that a while back as well. Remember, benefitscheckup.org is the website that you use, and you can go in there and you become the community resource, and you can help people not only with their Medicaid, LIS, prescription discounts, you know, help people look for jobs and housing and food, like the SNAP card from Medicaid, utility help, all sorts of different community resources at benefitscheckup.org, and it instantly makes you a community resource. Now, you've got the website, you've got the tools, you know what benefits are out there because you've got benefitscheckup.org. Now you need to go out to the community. You need to go out to churches. You need to go out to pharmacies. You need to go out to doctors' offices, and you let them know that you're a community resource, not a sales agent, not a broker. You're not there to sell insurance, not then. You are there to help the community access resources that they may not be aware of. And that is how I was able to get into places that other agents weren't able to get into, because I attacked the market by helping people with their benefits. Okay? So are you going to get a sale every time? No. That's not what this strategy is about. But will it allow you to get into nonprofits? Will it allow you to get into churches, senior groups? Yes. And you go there and you genuinely help these folks out. And you'll meet people that say, look, I've got this health plan and I don't really like it. Can you help me with this? Absolutely. I'd be glad to help you with that too. So it's a great lead source. And the best thing about this tool is you can start using it immediately. And if I were you, if you're looking for another strategy, if you've got a book of business, if you've got people that you can call, now's a great time to do it. And then after AEP is another great time to do it. You call all your clients and you say, hey, I've got this resource where I might be able to help you save some money monthly on your electricity, on your house, based on their income, assets, and resources, right? But calling your clients and offering this free service is what's going to kick up client referrals for you. It's going to generate business for you if you start using these resources. So it's really important that you know what resources are out there, what benefits are out there. And the only way that you're going to do that is by sticking with the trainings that we talked about in the beginning, and then then accessing these resources and becoming a pro at it. If you need help with this, I am more than happy to help. We do want to make sure that you're savvy with these tools. They're pretty straightforward, though. There's no rocket science in this. Just using a website. I know all of you know how to use a website and to get in there and to process all these great things. All right, so that's the end of the call. I am changing the format a bit. I will not be taking questions today unless they are in the chat. So if you do have a question this morning, go ahead and jump into the chat, and I'll be glad to answer those questions for you. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. If you're not in the video, please make sure you check your email, because I have a link there. We want to move everybody over to the video feature versus the call-in feature. because we do have some visuals that we like to show you from time to time, so please make sure that you know how to get into our video setting on this call as well. And if not, that's fine. We're glad to call you in because we do record the calls for the most part. You know, today we're having technical issues. It looks like the system needs to be updated, so we'll work on that. But in either case, having the video is going to be easy because we are now moving any questions into the chat box. So if you have any questions this morning and moving over, you can shoot them over into the chat box as we're talking, and then at the end of the call, be able to address those things. In addition, last thing here is if you have any suggestions on topics that you might want to hear or for me to tackle on a Monday morning conference call, please feel free to call me, text me, email me, shoot up a flare, whatever works for you, and I will be glad to attack that topic that you feel would be that would be beneficial to you. Sorry, it's Monday. I haven't had my coffee yet. So if you have a beneficial topic that you think would help you or other agents and you want me to discuss it on these Monday morning conference calls, I will be more than happy to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to find things to talk about, and honestly, I want to make sure that I'm covering the things that you guys want to hear. So we do have a question as well. Oh yes, and also if you have any topics on providers, so Nick is adding to the mix there. If there's anything that you want to hear about provider training for his sessions on Thursdays, please make sure you do so. And just as a second, third reminder here, Nick is hosting his provider training class on Thursday this week, which is the 16th at 2 p.m. The link is in the training calendar. Everyone should have our training calendar. If you don't, please contact our office and we'll get you hooked up. Okay? The link is in there. You just click the link and it'll take you into his training session. Remember guys, #1 lead source in our agency is client referrals. Year before last, #2 was providers, and we want to get that back up, and Nick is here to help us grow our provider relations and our provider referrals, but you've got to know what you're doing. Okay? You've got to know how to talk their talk and walk the walk with these providers. And let me tell you, we had some great meetings last week with some provider groups that are moving into Orlando, and they have some great lead sources available. They're talking to us about, we've got leads for you. But they will only want to work with the agents that understand how to work with providers. If you do not understand how to work with providers, then unfortunately you will not be keyed into these key resources. And Nick will be watching which agents will be getting these opportunities, and only those agents that have gone through his class will have these specific opportunities. And opportunities range from leads to call centers to mail outs to events and lots of different things and opportunities that we've had over the years. But we'll be making a list of those agents that have completed training with Nick to ensure that you guys know what you're doing with the providers. Okay, there's a lot to talk about in those provider trainings, but really, really great stuff, and that's why Nick's here to help us with that. So with that, I wish everybody a fantastic week. Please make sure you get your trainings out of the way and gear up for AEP. If you haven't started doing so, please start reaching out to your clients and setting appointments for next month. It's open enrollment next month. Believe it or not, it is coming quick. So I thank everybody for being on the call. I appreciate it. And as a reminder, these calls are recorded and hosted on our webpage, joinhpm.com, at the bottom right corner. All right, guys, have a fantastic week, and thanks for being here.